Is this the man, the myth, the legend behind that band known as the Compulsions from New York City that people somehow have never heard of?
I guess that's me, yeah.
This is the one and only Rob Carlyle, everybody. How you doing, Rob?
All right, man. How are you?
Good. Hey, you know, and I'm one of the guilty ones as well. Like, this band is so incredible, and as I'm sitting there Googling and researching the Compulsions and everything says the same, and it's how great the band is, but nobody knows about them.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, by the way, are we on the air right now?
No, we're live. We're taping. I mean.
Oh, okay. So you're taping right now.
Yeah.
Okay, just checking. Yeah, that seems to be the case. What you just said.
Yeah. That's got to be frustrating. I was getting frustrated just reading it.
Yeah, tell me about it, man. Tell me about it.
And you guys been around for a while. It's not like, I mean, you just started, right?
Yeah, man. I'm almost embarrassed to say how long I've been doing it. I would say the first Compulsions gig was probably in 2002 or 3.
Wow.
But I didn't have the lineup that I currently have. I didn't really come together until about I think 2009.
Okay.
So I did an early EP with Frank and Richard I think that came out around 2003 or 4. I did an early EP with those guys, and then they went and they were in the process, basically. Long story short, they were in the process of joining Guns N' Roses. And so I basically lost contact with them for years, and I had no what's the word, expectations to ever really get back together with them, just because of scheduling and stuff like that. And
sure.
And I played with various guys around town, all great players and stuff. The recordings, I mean. The recordings are out there. You may have heard them. That I think they speak for themselves. The quality was still there. We weren't really drawing as many people at the shows. We should have been, but for some reason we just weren't. And then I ended up reconnecting with Frank, and then eventually with Richard, and then we got Sammy on board. And for whatever reason, the shows have been way more packed ever since then. And I think the recordings have always, sounded of a certain quality, no matter who was involved. But, people love names and faces that they recognize. That's just the way people are. And so, when those guys got more involved, the popularity of the band definitely spiked. I don't think it's fair, because I think the other players were great too. But that's just the way the world goes, man. I don't know. I don't make the rules.
Now,
but even still, it's been we're still pretty much under the radar even now. But
right.
I mean, years ago, I wouldn't even say we were an underground band. We were under the underground. We wouldn't even qualify.
You guys were trying to get to the underground.
Oh, dude, totally. I mean, it's frustrating. To say it's been frustrating is like an understatement, but you have to keep a sense of humor about it, and and to be honest, I mean, I look at the people that are, supposedly, above our band or more popular than our band, and I don't really admire their artistic output at all, So It's not like I don't really dig what most people out there are doing, and if you're an artist, I don't think you should. I think the whole reason why you start doing it yourself is because you think that you have a better way,
Right.
So, or another way. But in this case, I think it's I think we're better than 99% of the bullshit that's out there.
And there is a lot of bullshit out there.
Yeah. There's more. I mean, I just said this in another interview. There's more out there than ever before, and it's because of the technology that, makes people think that they can make a record, or that they can promote a record or whatever. And so there's just more people encouraged to
do it.
think they're photographers. Everybody's a photographer now. Everybody's got a blog. Everybody's got a band. All of a sudden, everybody's super duper creative, but that doesn't mean that they're good at it. So.
Yeah.
And so I said this again in a recent interview. It's like the cream does rise to the crop, but there's just way more stuff to rise through now than ever before.
Right.
So
yeah, you're absolutely right.
There's just way more. I'm sure in your field too, you see it as well. I mean, there's way more people doing what you do too. So
yeah.
It's just way more competition, and you just have to. I'm guessing, I'm guessing the road to the top is longer than it's ever been. I don't know.
It really is. And that's the truth. Like with the world of the internet, like on one hand, it's like a great tool and can help you do this and do that. But on the other hand, with computers and technology and the internet, everybody thinks that they're somebody now. I mean, it's great for the creative side of people, but the people that are really murking up the waters.
Yeah, totally. And then and they do it with such vigor. But I mean, you just got to do your thing. You just got to do your thing.
Right. Exactly. Now, I mean, that's going to say a lot for you, though. I mean, the Compulsions is really, it's your baby. I mean, you started this 12, 13 years ago, and I mean, you could have very simply either A, hopped on with somebody else, or B, just like said, screw the Compulsions, I'm going to start something else all new altogether. But I mean, you've really believed in the whole Compulsions project.
Well, first of all, nobody asked me to hop onto anything else. So I haven't hopped onto anything else. There hasn't been any offers. And B, I could have thought to say screw it and start all over again. But I got to be honest. Every song that we do, I do that. Every song that we do, I'm trying to basically recreate the band, and do something that we've never done before musically, and so I kind of satisfy that itch, I mean, the way I don't know how much of our past material you listen to, but man, we've covered everything from Irish jigs to reggae to sad country songs to straight up 45-second punk rock songs to right down the middle of the road, rockers, so it's like creatively, musically, I can satisfy any itch I want with this band, and that's what I love about it is, I'm free to, I kind of took a page out of, my favorite bands, some of my favorite bands growing up, like the Beatles and the Stones and Led Zeppelin. I mean, those guys did everything,
Yeah.
So that's kind of the route that I took with the band. It's like to not be confined to one style, and it all falls under the umbrella of rock and roll.
Yeah, you know what? And I like that, and I think more artists should do that. I mean, especially in this day and age, don't limit yourself to the same exact style, every song in and song out. I mean, broaden the horizons a little.
Yeah. Well, you have to. I mean, I'm not saying that I do. You have to be the judge of that, but you have to know a lot about music to cop that many vibes. You know what I mean? You have to have grown up, studying it and without studying it. Just being a fan of all kinds of music. A, and B, you have to have the balls to not to to realize that you have a core sound, but it's fun to challenge yourself and the audience and branch out. By the same token, though, AC/DC is one of my favorite bands, and it's kind of the same song over and over again, but god damn, it's a hell of a song,
Right.
So they've veered from the formula very little. I think Ride On is probably the only ballad that they ever did. You know what I mean? So but that's a great band, so.
Absolutely.
The Ramones
Absolutely.
too. The Ramones as well. They kind of had a very specific blueprint that they worked off of every time, and they just killed it, and it worked. Mm-hmm. But no, I can't think of any other bands really that were able to do that.
That's true.
And keep you interested.
Right.
You know?
Now, one thing, I mean, being you specifically are from New York, and I'm a huge Dolls fan, a Thunders fan, and I love seeing and actually being able to hear the influence in the music.
Yeah, I don't know how that happens, but yeah, just I didn't really become a Dolls fan. I didn't really know about the Dolls until much later in life. But I guess it's because trying to sound like the Stones but doing the shitty job of it. That's the Dolls, and that comes through. That probably comes through in our approach as well. And I say doing a shitty job of it, like with love. You know what I mean?
Sure. And I mean, how is that for you personally? I mean, I would be like kind of blown away to be in a recording studio or rehearsal or on stage and turn to my side and I got Sammy Yaffa next to me.
Yeah, I mean, Sammy's he's awesome. Aside from, I mean, he is where he's at because he's just a tremendous musician as well. Aside from being a cool guy and all that other stuff, but like he's a hell of a player. And that's why he's where he's at. I mean, he's just unbelievable. And then paired with a guy like Frank on the drums is just like it's a bulldozer, Right.
Now, I mean, and that's got to be a frustrating part too as well, like where you got these guys and they have their other commitments to other bands and all. Doesn't it make, I mean, that's got to be not only frustrating but kind of scary because how can you really make commitments yourself when these guys have prior commitments?
Yeah, man, it's really, really tough. And I mean, it's a lot of crossing of the fingers and waiting for the stars to align. And, just to be quite honest, it's been going on for a long time. I'm not, this is probably my first time saying this in an interview publicly. I'm not sure how long I'm going to be able to hang out and quote unquote wait for stuff to happen.
Right.
It's just because life goes on and you can't sit there and wait for somebody else's schedule. So, for example, the last couple of the shows we did, we had a guy named Alec Morton on the bass, and Alec used to play in a band called Raging Slab. I don't know if you remember Raging Slab.
Yeah.
And he's a killer, So I don't know moving forward what's exactly going to happen, but I can't. The band needs to play out more. The Compulsions have turned down way more gigs than we've ever played, and I don't say that to brag. I'm actually bummed out about it. There's way more opportunities. Yeah, there's way more opportunities that, for example, we got asked. The Knitting Factory hit me up a few weeks ago. They wanted us to open up for The Answer, and that would have been a great opportunity for us. And I just didn't have a band to do the show, and it's just heartbreaking, And I can't keep doing that. By the same token, there's a shortage of killer players on the planet today who know rock and roll, When I say rock and roll, I mean you got to know punk rock, you got to know reggae, you got to know southern rock, you got to know the Sunset Strip thing, you got to know the did I say British Invasion? You got to know everything. You got to know modern day shit. There's just not that many guys. I mean, that's not that many guys out there that really can do it. So it's tough.
And also too, I mean, you kind of take a chance where you can end up pissing people off because they, like you said, with them guys in the band, attendance is a lot better. And if somebody's coming to specifically see like a Sammy or Richard or Frank, and they're not there, I mean, then you have somebody bitching and complaining.
Yeah, you have to keep that in mind too. By the same token, though, hopefully the songs are the star of the show. I mean, it's really about the song. It's really about the songs.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. Would I want to see Led Zeppelin without Jimmy Page? No. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, people. That's the thing about about great bands is the names of every guy in the band. You know the bass player and the drummer's name. You know what I mean? You don't just know the lead singer and the lead guitar player's name. All our favorite bands, you can name every guy, and you love every guy for whatever reason. So yeah, it's a very emotional thing for the fans, and I get it. But by the same token, it's I have a hard time getting out there and playing these songs, and so you kind of have to hope that the songs are also like the star of the show,
Right, exactly. The music has to become the true feature of everything.
I mean, hopefully, yeah, but that's in theory. But again, like, would you want to see Mick Jagger up there without Ron Wood and Keith Richards? Like, no.
No, yeah, exactly. Now, not only do you got three incredible known guys in your band, but you have like one of the biggest icons in music as a huge supporter of you, and that's Alice Cooper.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And did he have you guys in the studio on his show, or?
Yeah, he's got a radio show called Nights with Alice Cooper. It's a syndicated show, and Richard and I went down and we did the interview and we played a couple of songs. One of them is up there on the internet somewhere. It's called Lucky. We did an acoustic version of Lucky. We also did an acoustic version of Silly Little Woman of the new album. I don't think that one's up there at the moment. So yeah, and they featured us on that show with the previous record as well. We had a song called Hired Gun. Yeah, we had a song called Hired Gun, and that was on there a few times. And so they've just been real supportive and real cool. So I totally appreciate that.
That's awesome. Now, how about the new album is out? It came out in April. It's called Dirty Fun.
Yeah.
And again, every review I saw, it was just tremendous. And a lot of people in the reviews all call this like album of the year.
Well, yeah, a couple did. Well, they didn't say album. No, they didn't say album. To be fair, because the album came out in April, I know what you mean. I think one of the interviews said something like it's an early contender for album of the year, and then the other one said something like I think this could be one of our albums of the year. But yeah, thank you for saying that. But I don't know that they said it was album of the year just yet. I mean, the year, it's only August, so we can still get our asses kicked between now and December. Let's see what comes out. But I know it's a brutal record. I know it's a hard. We just cover so much musical ground on 10 songs. I mean, I don't know. It's not a competition, obviously, but I knew it was a really good record when we were making it, and I just wanted to get it all right. It took a while.
Right.
It took a little bit longer than I expected, but thank you for saying that. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. Album of the year. I don't know. We'll see.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Trying to get Rolling Stone to say that. That's the trick. They'll probably God knows what they're gonna pick. But it's not gonna be good. It's not gonna be good, whatever it is.
I'm sure. Now, something that really stood out in the band's bio, and it was the very ending of the bio, and it says, all Compulsions recordings are 100% financed.
100% independently financed.
Independently financed, yeah.
Yeah, which means I pay for everything. Yeah.
I just liked how you wanted to make it a point that everybody knows, like, hey, we are an independent band, and we're doing this ourselves.
Well, yeah, because I know a lot of people out there think, I can steal music, and, who cares, whatever. But, like, the point is, if you want to do that to Trent Reznor, or you want to do that to, Steven Tyler, or Bruno Mars or whatever, that's one thing. But this is I'm doing this all on my own. If you want to steal from me, I just want to let you know, if you're stealing from me, you're stealing from a guy who doesn't have much. So
right.
That's just my way of just letting you know that there's no record label behind this. If you want, I get tons and tons of messages from fans saying, when are you going to go on the road? When are you coming to Ohio? When are you coming to Brazil? When are you coming to France? If you want to steal the music, then we're not coming, because I can't afford to bring this band to where people want me to bring it to. So the only way I'm going to be able to afford to is probably with some major backing, and I'm not going to get major backing without being able to show an impressive sales numbers to them. I'm sorry, but
Right.
that's just the way it is these days. They want to see numbers. They want to see YouTube hits. They want to see all that stuff. They don't care about the music. From what I can tell, they don't care about the music because, like you said, it's been 12 years of reviews that basically say this band is the next one in line, in the same heritage as AC/DC and the Stones and the Dolls and Aerosmith or whatever. This is a band cut from the same cloth. Which, how many people do you know would love a band like that? I like just about everybody that I know that's a rock and roller would just be, drooling to hear that kind of thing. But
I am.
but if you can't, but the labels don't care. It's just hearsay to them. And first of all, what labels? What's even left? And all right, so management companies and stuff, they don't want to make any kind of leap of faith. They want to see numbers, and dollars is really what speaks to them. Like how many times have we read an article about such and such an artist, whether it's a hip hop guy or a rock band or whatever, that they were back in the day they would say they were after the show they were selling tons of records out of the trunk of the car, right? Like that's
right.
what you would hear about. Well, nowadays the trunk of the car is iTunes. There's no excuse. As far as the label is concerned, there's no excuse. If you're that hot shit, there's no excuse why you shouldn't be, selling tons of music. But nobody's really buying music anymore these days. Like why buy when you can stream or, why? I mean, why?
It's scary. The whole thing. I mean, for you guys, it screws me up. And as a music fan, it screws me up. Like, I'm a person who, like, since I was a kid in the 70s, would buy them albums and just stare at them albums as the record was on, spinning.
I know.
And as, the 80s with cassettes and then CDs. And now it's just like there's nothing to look at. There's no nothing. You click. And I don't like it. And it really pisses me off because, every week I talk to somebody like yourself who is putting out incredible killer music, and they're in the same boat, and it's so freaking frustrating.
Yeah. Well, it's basically at the end of the day, from what I could tell, it's down to the fans. If the fans want it, the fans have to support it. And if the fans don't support it, it's going to go away, and then they're just going to get what the mainstream wants to just shovel down your throat.
Say if things were a little better than what they are in the state of music and a major label approached you, would you be interested in going that route, or would you rather be in control yourself?
No, 100%. I don't think I can do what I want to do without financial support that I just don't have. I don't.
Right.
Just to go out on the road. I don't know if fans really realize that, like, the first time a band goes out on the road, and maybe the first 2 or 3 times, you're losing money. You're not making money. You're losing money. That's an investment to, like, spread the name of your band, so that the next, you're going to lose money on the tour, so that when you come back a year later, those people know your name, and then maybe you lose a little less money, and then you're not really making money until later on. That's just the way it goes. But the amount of money that you need to lose, dude, I don't have that kind of money. I just don't have
exactly.
it. I've heard, and I don't know if it's true, but I've talked to people that manage bands and stuff like that, and I don't know if this is right or not, but the guy basically told me, Rob, it takes about $500,000 to $1 million, at least, to put into a band to break it to the mainstream, and that counts. I'm guessing that accounts for, like, recording, which I don't, we have almost 4 albums worth of material, I think, at this point. But promotion and making videos and touring and all that kind of stuff, that costs a lot of money. The bands that are in the mainstream, that you can't get away from, they have a ton of money behind them. Like, you got to be able to compete with that. They're talking about, probably millions. And so I don't have that kind of cash,
Right. Yeah, and people need to realize too. Like, I know, like, playing in a band here in Philly, a guy who I played in a band with for 16 years. When we broke up, he hooked up with another band, and they actually they did some like 3-week tours here and there every few months. And the first time he went out on the road, he would call me every couple of days and give me updates. And like 6 days in, he's like, I had a breakdown. I'm actually like dumpster diving to get food. I'm like, oh man, yeah, like no way.
I don't think Sammy Yappa's going to be dumpster diving anytime soon.
But bands are doing it, and people need to realize it's kind of like their fault for not supporting you guys.
Well, I mean, I just don't think they realize how much the bands that they love need the support, and it's more than just a like on Facebook. You know, like labels and management, they want to see that. Basically, it's like getting a loan from the bank. You ain't getting a loan from the bank unless you don't need a loan from the bank. It's the same thing with the record label. They're not. Right. They don't want to. They don't want to jump on board and help something get developed. They want to take something that's already got tons of momentum behind it and just give it a little bit of a nudge and you know
take all the money.
Cut. Yeah, totally. Which I get, which is cool, because there's a lot of resources and things that a label can make happen for you that you're just not going to be able to do as an independent artist. You're just not going to be able to do it.
Right. Wow. All right, so where can everybody get the new album, Dirty Fun, and all the other music that you guys have? And they need to buy it. I don't want to hear no stealing crap or going on YouTube and watching it. Go and buy the friggin' records, people.
That's really nice of you. We're on iTunes. We're on Spotify. We're on basically, I think, every major music outlet online.
Okay.
But iTunes, from what I could see, iTunes seems to be the most popular, and so obviously we're there, and we're in Rhapsody and all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
And how about the website is thecompulsionsnyc.com? Correct. You guys are on Facebook. You're on Twitter. You guys are everywhere. Reverb Nation.
Yep. You gotta be these days, but because everybody else is. But yes. Cool.
Anything else you want to throw out there that I might have missed, or anything else going on, or?
There's actually another album in the works right now. I'm not going to give too many details away, but I think it'll be something that the fans dig, and it's going to be a little bit different than anything we've done before. So just keep an eye out for that. I don't know when it's coming out. We just got started doing it, but it'll be something a little bit different than we've done in the past. And there's just there's stuff going on.
You're jumping right back into making a new album already.
Yeah, I have to. I just got to keep, because we have, just to be honest, we have a really good buzz going right now with barely any promotional dollars behind it. Just the enthusiasm of, we got a lot of enthusiasm from radio and and like you saw, the press and stuff like that. So there's a lot of goodwill towards the band right now, which I'm very grateful for. But I don't want to wait, 2 years or even a year before putting something out. So I have an idea for something that I think would be relatively easy for us to do, and I'd love to get it out and keep the buzz going. I'd love to get it out by the time the year is up. Well, I don't know if that's going to happen, but if not, early next year. But
cool.
But I would definitely keep people updated as soon as we get some more juicy details to let everybody know.
Very nice. And how about pick a song off the album you want us to play?
Ooh. How about House of Rock?
I can do that.
Yeah. That's actually a song that was actually inspired by, did you ever go to Don Hills, the club Don Hills?
No.
Oh, that was like one of the,
I remember the name.
Yeah, before New York exploded with everybody moving here and the whole Williamsburg, Brooklyn phenomenon. Basically, if you were a band, you played at CBGB or you played at Continental or you played at Don Hills. Those are like the three big ones. And Don was, he passed away a couple of years ago. Don was a huge supporter of the band, and in all its incarnations, he always got it. And so he passed away a couple of years ago, and I wrote this song called House of Rock, basically loosely based on Don Hills, and the first line of the song is an old man sitting in the corner. That's Don. Then if you just listen to the rest of the song, it basically details like what a typical night at Don Hill's might have been like.
Very cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. And if I can get you to cut an ID for me, too, before you go, this is Rob Carlyle of The Compulsions, and you're listening to Totally Driven Radio.
This is Rob Carlyle from The Compulsions, and you're listening to Totally Driven Radio.
Awesome. Rob, thanks so much. We'll be pushing for you guys, and I hope you guys kick on through to the other side.
Oh, thank you so much, Beck.
It's been great talking to you, man.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You got it. Take care, Rob.
You too, man. We'll talk soon.
Yep. Bye.
All right. I'll take care now. Bye-bye.